back to Check Game, man. I'm here with your boy Alvin Williams.
I'm here with your boy Terrence A. Smith.
We're here to talk about this week in sports, man. We're going to start off. We got some. Alvin had a good day in sports this day. We're going to talk about tanking, and we're going to also talk about the Spurs' 8-game win streak. We wanted to start off by talking about Chris Paul retiring. Chris Paul had a great career, right? Paul, 40 years old, is a 12-time All-Star, an 11-time member of the All-NBA team, a 9-time All-Defensive Team member, 2000 Rookie of the Year, Olympic gold medalist, and a member of the 75th anniversary team. He retiring, Al. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Man, congratulations to that young man, old man in NBA terms, but for me, he's a young man, but congratulations. Got a chance to, like everybody else, watch Chris Paul just mesmerize teams and the fan base. One of the best point guards, man, that you're going to find. One of the last traditional, to me, point guards, him along with a Kyle Lowry type and guys like that. But Chris Paul not only would dish out assists, his scoring, his mid range, his ability to handle the ball, his epic battles with Steph Curry, part of that Lob City, that dynamic really put respect on the Clippers' name after a while when they were a joke for a long time, man. And Chris Paul just, you hate to see the way his career ended. But forget all that. You give him his flowers while he's still here because he was outstanding, one of the top point guards that we've seen. And then defensively, just a competitor. And I was more amazed one day I bumped into him and he didn't even know, but I was sizing him up. But I was like, man, he's a small dude. He's not the biggest dude out there. And for him to play the way he was playing, man, correct. Congratulations to Chris Paul. And man, nothing but flowers and nothing but the best for you in your retirement.
Yeah, same, man. I got much respect for his game. Boy, he play his ass off. He played tough, which I really like. And for his size, he really played hard and he get after guards. And he's a treat to watch on the offensive end with his Lob City and the things he done in New Orleans was special. The things he done in California with the Clippers was special. So shout out to Chris Paul, man. Much success. On Saturday, our guy Jaylen Brown held an event out in Beverly Hills for his brand 741 with a partnership with Oakley. And the event was shut down 7 p.m. by the Beverly Hills police officers. And Brown live streamed it to get his point across of he was being shut down improperly. They said he needed a permit, and then he found out he didn't need a permit. What's your thoughts on that, Al? Have you ever experienced that, or how do you feel about that happening to an NBA athlete of that caliber out in Beverly Hills All-Star Weekend?
It's unfortunate, man, but it's our society. It's the things that unfortunately our people, black young men, black individuals, our race is always under scrutiny, is always observed, is always scrutinized, is always a struggle especially when you're trying to do the right thing and people frowned upon it. And I take my hat off to Jaylen Brown, the way he conducted himself. I saw
Right.
the video when he was talking to the police officer. He was poised, he was professional, he was deliberate, and he was standing his ground. He needed answers. I need answers. I need to know what's going on because I have something that I'm going on that's productive for my people and for people looking for the future. Networking event, just trying to uplift and empower younger people and people around. So when you have somebody that's trying to do the right thing and that's strong-willed and strong-minded, and nothing's going to stop him. He reminds me, man, a lot when you talk about your Muhammad Ali's and you talk about athletes that really stand for a cause.
Hmm.
He's right. He's right there, man. And you give this man time, he's going to do a lot more special things. For not just our people, for our society, and for the world, man. Again, hats off to Jaylen Brown. It's unfortunate it happened. I saw the city of Beverly Hills offered an apology. Not sure how it's received. I know he said it's too late. The damage had already been done. But I encourage you, man, to keep pushing because we need you. The people need you. The NBA needs you. This world needs you, man. So keep pushing, Jalen.
Yeah, I definitely stand by Jaylen, man. I like his focus and the way he represent us. He's strong-minded. He seemed like he don't take no crap, and he stand on his word. So sorry that happened to him at that event. Hopefully, the outcome comes out where he wound up getting the better end of the deal. But like you said, that happens to our people, especially out in places like that in Beverly Hills. And Sorry for that happening out there for Jalen or during All Star Weekend when he having an MVP season. To change gears, you said we wanted to mention the kid Lamelo Ball driving and getting into a two-car accident, and you thought that was important for us to mention because we wanted young kids to understand the importance of being in that position as a guard or the leader of a franchise, and making these type of mistakes. Being a professional athlete, what's your 2 cents on that, Al?
Yeah, man. Young people are gonna make mistakes, but there's no excuse to be reckless. There's no excuse to be irresponsible, and it's sensitive too because it's not the first time we've seen him on video. When we've seen him on video driving recklessly and
He's-
driving recklessly, so he has to really sharpen up, and the sensitivity behind this. And I can't, and we got to dig into it because I remember my rookie year. So I guess it was 1997. Charlotte Hornets, they had a beloved member on their team killed
mm,
from a car racing accident, Bobby Fields. I don't know if you
mhm,
guys remember that. And it was a lot of, it damages a lot of things. A man lost his life. David Wesley lost a very close friend. He lost a teammate. His wife lost a husband. His kids lost a father. The world lost a good person. From my understanding, Bobby Phillips was a great person, but it was one of those incidences where you have something happen, but a life is lost. So I urge the young fella to sharpen up. I urge him to sharpen up. I urge people that's around him, tighten him up. I don't even care these days, man. You done signed a big deal. Have yourself a driver. Have
mhm,
yourself a
mhm.
driver during games, after games, and all of those things, man. Do not put yourself in harm's way, especially now that the league is looking at you, the world is looking at you, pedestrians, everybody's looking at you. And if you want to
Mhm.
continue your career, man, and move forward, it's time to start making some grown man decisions.
I agree with you there, and I also think the NBA should implement a program for these guys that's going to have a party night. These guys are going to drink. I think the NBA need to get more responsible for these guys and implement a driver rule, a Uber rule, some type of rule to protect these kids. Because me and you have gotten behind the wheel, like any of our viewers or anybody that's paying attention. All of us has gotten behind the wheel with a little alcohol in us, which is fine, right? But at that level, and when he's an investment to the company, like these high end athletes are, I think the NBA should put something in structure to keep these guys out of that bit of trouble at least. Maybe sign some type of contract with Uber or some type of driving company to protect their investments, to protect their athletes, to say the so. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's something. But again, man, I think now, man, like you're dealing with these men, and by no means am I promoting drinking and driving, because that's unlawful and that's dangerous, that's irresponsible, that's putting people in harm's way. And when you're talking about these things, it's like you got to step up. The NBA, the team, this is you. This is you. You can't drive reckless. You can't drive. And I don't even think that young man was drinking. I just think it's middle of the day. It looked like he might have been on the phone texting or something, or might have just drifted off. I don't know. He went to another lane. But again, he's had incidences where he's been driving reckless. So I think everybody needs to take a look in the mirror and make sure they're doing the right thing when it comes to being responsible, man. Because me and you talked about it before, Fat. Now at this stage of life, your actions impact not just you, everybody around you, man. And that's something
Hmm.
that's a hard thing to live with when other people around you and other people that has no innocent people have to suffer.
Hmm. No doubt. We wanted to change gears and talk about Detroit. Detroit was winning. Your boy, I don't know where you got Cade Cunningham in your MVP list, but he's definitely moved up the notch a little bit for me because he's been balling and they've been winning. He had 42 against the Knicks the other night, which I thought was a statement game. What you think about Detroit right now? What's the chances? I hope they don't fall short in the playoffs, but what do you feel about them right now, right after the All Star break and Cade having a 42-point game?
Detroit basketball. They back, baby. They back, dog. I can't even
Mhm.
front on it, dog. I was excited about Cade Cunningham coming into this season. Got a lot of opportunity to talk to Jarrett Jack, who's assistant coach on that staff, and he was just telling me how the young fella is coming along, making the proper reads, understanding different situations of the game. We know his ability to skill, his athleticism, his shot making ability, his size, his aggressive approach. He's a true professional, and I love the fact. I think it was this year he got a signature shoe. It's this year where a lot of these
Mhm,
opportunities are coming off the court, and nothing has deterred him from still being great. He is, and you talk about Jalen Brown
mhm,
as an MVP, holding that Boston Celtics team second without a Tatum this year. But nobody saw Detroit Pistons being number one outside of probably Detroit Pistons organization. And what they doing, Cade
mhm,
Cunningham is definitely in a running of MVP. And then when you go to the Garden and drop 40 plus and take them down after
mhm,
losing to them in the playoffs last year because Jalen Brunson hit the game winner, Cade Cunningham is really showing improvement, man. I'm happy for that team. I'm happy for the organization. We got our homie Pooh Allen over there as assistant coach, but they're doing
mhm,
an
mhm, mhm.
outstanding job. That coaching staff over there, man, and Cade Cunningham is exciting to watch. So I believe in them, man. I really truly believe in them. And they also play like dogs. They're a bunch of dogs over there in Detroit. Detroit basketball is back, baby.
Definitely, Detroit basketball is back. Well, what about these Spurs on this 8-game winning streak? And now that they crept up in second, they no longer 10 games behind the Thunder. They 2 games behind the Thunder. And your boy Castle, who you're a big fan of, I'm a big Wimby fan. Them guards they getting after it too. So them being on the 8-game winning streak, what's your thoughts on the Spurs right
Showing
now, man?
improving. They continue to if Wemby
Definitely.
can stay healthy and those guys can stay healthy, man, it's going to be very, very interesting. They got size, they got guard play, they got tremendous guard play, they got youth, they got experience. You got Harrison Barnes over there, you got De'Aaron Fox over there, you got a heck of a coach. I mean, the way they're coming together, it reminds you a lot of the OKC, a young team with a superstar in Shea Gilgeous. Now we're not gonna forget Shea's been hurt, Williams has been hurt. They've been in and out of the lineup, so they
Hmm.
got to get healthy. But
Hmm.
that's gonna be if those two teams meet in the Western Conference Finals, 1 and 2, it's gonna be an exciting series to watch. But Spurs, man, I'm keep my eye on those guys. As long as they can stay healthy and as long as their players continue to grow and mesh together, it's going to be exciting. They're doing their thing.
Game time.
Game time. This is a segment where we get discuss about some new subjects in basketball, and today we're talking about the tanking situation. Who's tanking and who tanking? From Shams, we got a multiple source with knowledge of Thursday's GM meeting as well as late January competition committee told ESPN that the following concepts have been discussed to curb tanking. First round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 4. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date, no longer allowing teams to pick top 4 in consecutive years or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Teams can't pick up top 4 year after making conference finals. Lottery odds allocated based on one year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams. Flattened odds for all lottery teams. What does that mean, and what does that say to our audience, Alvin?
Hell if I know. I need to be in there with trying to figure out the puzzle, but pretty much it's not rewarding teams for losing. Like
Okay.
they're taking away, like if I'm trying to tank to get a lottery pick or get a certain pick, whether the protection is there. And what that means is if teams finish at a certain spot and the lottery and the pick is not protected, they can lose it.
Okay.
So it's a lot of writing and a lot of jargon in there that kind of makes sure teams are protected from certain picks and certain I guess draft stock. But when
Mhm.
it comes down to it, it's taking the opportunity, it's taking the I guess the reward away for taking or coming in last. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed. Typically the lottery they cater to the teams that had the worst records, and they present the odds of who can get the highest draft pick and those things like that. And now with teams, the way the game is structured and way the CBA is structured with the aprons, it's harder now for teams to go out there and stack their rosters due to salaries because there is a tax penalty. And if you're not winning and you have a high salary, a payroll as on your roster, it's going to be hard to maintain that for an owner. And an owner is not going to want to pay that tax. So when it comes down to it, I think when you're talking about tanking, the NBA is really trying to find solutions to make sure that these teams aren't sitting players. Like we saw the Jazz just get fined 500,000 for
Mhm.
tanking, and
Mhm.
then you hear the owner turn around and say, we won? You tell them we tanking, but we won that game."
Mm.
So when you're intentionally putting players on the bench or not playing certain players to win games or to lose games, it's a black eye for the league. And I know the league didn't expect this or didn't intend for this to happen when you injected the lottery in there. But now you got it. You can't reward teams for losing. And now what
Mhm,
they're trying to say is also the last thing I'll say is if you finish in the bottom half or the bottom 3 or 4 years consecutively, then you need to be penalized from that standpoint as well.
mhm,
Not sure of all the details because these are just concepts I think that were kicked around just to try to get the ball going.
mhm.
But that's something that the NBA has been concerned about. We've been talking about as fans, as a fan base, but there's something the NBA is taking serious now.
I'm
That's game
tripping,
time for
man. You know
It's
I
your
was tripping.
time. This is one of your favorite segments, man. Tell me who tripped this week.
Yo, so the boy Joker, he tripped out in Golden State in the loss, 35 points, 20 rebounds, 12
Wow.
assists. Your
Mm.
man Jalen Johnson, I know you're a big fan of his. Out in Miami, he took a loss, but he had 16 points, 16 rebounds, and 11 assists. And then your man Jalen Brown out in Golden State, he did it in the win. 23 points, 15 rebounds, 13 assists. So those are three guys that tripped this week. Crazy, it was three of them, but that's who tripping out here this week. So those are the guys that tripped. Shout out to all three of y'all, man. Hey, my blood, hey, cuz you know how we do, man. It's a segment we installing, and this is called Al's Real Spill. This is a segment where Al give us his real spill. What you got for us this week, Al?
Well, since it's the first week, it's the
Mm-hmm.
first episode, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
just give a shout out, hit the microphone real quick. I'm gonna give a shout out to Pat Riley. Pat
Mm.
Riley, the first coach, the only coach out there that got a bronze statue honoring him in his legendary career as a Los Angeles Lakers head coach. And I was listening to a little bit of his speech. He had a lot of the players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes, Bob McAdoo, Magic Johnson, Norm Nixon, Brian Scott was there, James Worthy. And it was good to see him being honored. It was good to see him acknowledge the players that helped him get there as that coach. But somebody who in 9 years, he went to 7 championships, won 4 of them,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the one that labeled the three-peat. And
Mm.
I think what you copyrighted that or he stamped that where anytime that was used, you know what I mean? He trademarked it.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that was used, I don't know how much of a check he got from it, but that was just like a legendary thing. Remember him doing that? I remember him saying, "We're gonna win it next year," and them they putting the towel in his mouth, telling him not because everybody know how hard it is to do back to backs and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Pat Riley, who's also a high level exec for the Miami Heat. He's won championships there as an executive and as a coach. So legendary. They call him the Godfather. So legendary guy, Pat Riley, man. Congratulations. I was a Lakers fan growing up. So getting a chance to see that, it was pretty cool to see. And I hopefully one day I get to go downtown by that Staples Center or now what it's called. I forgot the
Crypto.
Crypto Center. Yeah, the Crypto Center. Go there and see a bunch of those trophies and those statues out there. You got Shaq, you got Kareem, you got Kobe, you got Pat Riley now, you got Magic. Shout out to the Lakers organization for acknowledging Pat Riley, the Godfather.
That's Al's real spill.
Your turn, Fats. It's your time of the segment.
Mm-hmm.
Fats Facts. What
Well,
you
it's
got
Fats-
for me, blood?
This Fats Facts. And what I want to say is I like to discuss broke versus poor. Broke to me seems like that's in the pocket. Poor is a mindset. Me being from the hood, what I mean by that is anybody from my hood that watches this, there was a lady named Mom Jean, Miss Jean, rest in peace. She lived in the hood. She had the same space as everybody in the projects, but she somehow she would have Persian rugs. She would have Italian drapes. She would have Chinese settings in her kitchen. And if you stepped in her house, it made you look like, what is she doing living this well in the projects? So for me, it done a lot raising my mind to understand if I'm living in poor conditions, I don't have to sit in poor conditions is what she taught me with that behavior and showing me that because we live here, you don't have to live poor. Poor is in the mind, broke is in the pocket. And that's a fat facts. And I wanted to share that with our audience today. Peace. This, Al, you know what we do, man. We talk about these special days on sports. And February 23rd, guess what, man? I got something real special for you this time. We got our boy Alvin Williams, man. My boy Alvin Williams, he went off on this day against the Sacramento Kings. 18 points, 13 dimes, 4 steals. And the boy went off, man. He was bipping, bopping, and he hit a couple step backs. You know what I mean? Boy was showing off that game and went to 3 overtimes. He took an L, but it was this day in sports. Our boy Alvin Williams went off, man. You got anything about that day, Alvin?
Hell yeah, I got something about that day. We lost. We lost, but that was the first day. We had just day before we traded Mark Jackson, who I was backing up. The legendary Mark Jackson, my OG, taught me so much, and they ended up trading Mark Jackson for Chris Childs, New York Knicks. You got Chris Childs, then we got Jerome Williams that same year, and our team, we made it to the playoffs that year. But I also remember that game. It was a good game for me statistically, but I also remember getting a rebound, pushing the ball up the floor, and one of my former teammates, my old teammates, another OG of mine, Doug Christie,
Mhm.
stole the ball from behind. I fell. They got the ball, and that's how they ended up winning the game, man. I turned that rock over, man, at the end. So it was a great game, but
Mhm.
it was one of them things that it was bittersweet.
Well, that's what happened on this day in sports, man. Shout out to Al Williams.
Hey, Fetch, this is one of my favorite segments. It's my time to get a chance to shout out to one of my teammates, former teammates. Doesn't always have to be in the pros or it could be teammates, whatever, but this is one that I came into the league and he was already there, a young fella named Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal
Mm.
was a great example for a young, talented person coming in straight out of high school. And I
Mhm.
watched him, got a chance my rookie year. He's still playing in the summer league. I watched him give Tim Duncan everything he could handle. Tim Duncan was the number one pick. Jermaine O'Neal was in the league a year before, but Jermaine O'Neal was still young, and Tim Duncan was that deal. But I watched Jermaine O'Neal sit on a bench behind Rasheed Wallace, Brian Grant, Gary Trent, Kelvin Cato, Arvydas Sabonis. We had so many bigs, and it was hard for everybody to navigate that position. But Jermaine O'Neal, he held his weight. He competed every day. And when he finally got his turn, it wasn't necessarily with the Portland Trailblazers. It's with the Indiana Pacers. And we saw what he did with the Indiana Pacers, man. He really was a staple for that organization, man, as they big. I remember him having a 55-point game. I remember him being a monster in that low post, the mid-range, athletic. So shout out to Jermaine O'Neal. A lot of people don't realize, man, it wasn't easy for you. You had to sit behind a lot of great players. You had to wait your turn, but you was patient. You worked in your game. You and your coach from South Carolina, Coach Glenn, I think that was his name. Excellent, excellent old head, man. He was awesome, and he really looked after you. So shout out to Jermaine O'Neal being patient, and then you came to be the player you became, man. Heck of a player, heck of a career. Shout out, Jo.
Shout out, Jo. That's it for us here at Check Game, man. We appreciate all the support y'all give us. We appreciate when you hit the like, when you subscribe, and any comments. We appreciate all the love y'all been showing us. Anything before we get out of here, Al? Yeah, there
That's
you
it.
go. Peace, 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 peace. Enjoy your week. We catch y'all next week. Peace.